Hi.
Hi. Okay, so we are shooting a little testimonial. And to start us off, can you just quickly introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Yvonne, and I live in Northern Canada in a small town where there aren't a lot of jobs. And yeah, I'm a teacher on OutSchool and off platform, and that's where I'm at right now. I teach art courses, project-based learning, conversation coaching, and board game design, songwriter type workshops, and social groups.
Awesome. Okay, so where was your teaching business before we started working together?
Non-existent. My teaching business before we started working together was the occasional music lesson, a lot of volunteer work around STEM and that kind of thing, supplementing education at the school. I needed help, um, I guess kind of knowing the mechanics of how you run a classroom management, because I had no idea how to use the tools for that and what was expected and what works and what doesn't. Having confidence even to be on camera. And I think, yeah, setup's kind of an important thing. A lot of trial and error. Um, I had poor internet connection, so I had to do some tricky things in the background to make that work. But also organization and how to structure a class. And that means like structure a class proposal and have it all worked out in a measurable way. So that was a little tricky too. So you really helped me with that. But mostly confidence, I think.
What made you want to work with me specifically?
I had sort of toyed with the idea of working on Outschool before, but it was kind of daunting. Seems scary. And working with you allowed me that sort of support structure to get in there. And you're successful and you built a business on your own and you had a really unique vision about the inclusivity in classrooms and how you can make that work. And it's a huge need.
Was there anything that almost prevented you from working with me?
Um, Terror? Does that count? I wasn't really sure how I'd be received. And I think working with you, you give a lot of freedom with some guidelines and coaching, but not directive, you will do it this way. And on one part, that's really liberating. And on the other part, it's kind of terrifying when you're first starting out and you're like, I want to be a robot for a little while, so I know how to do this. But in that, sort of jumping off that, just jump off the cliff, like just get in there and do it. Yeah, I think that is the reason why working with you is so great and yet slightly terrifying because you have such confidence in me that I didn't have in myself. And so if there was anything that prevented me from working with you, it was like not seeing what you saw in me, in myself.
Makes sense. So what made you decide ultimately to pull the trigger and do it?
You were consistent and you were consistently supportive and consistently um, available, if that makes sense. And every time I had an issue, you're really good at um, boiling it down to the main issue at hand, right? So that my emotional response to the situation wasn't my emotional response. It was like, no, actually, it's just this very practical thing you need to look at. And yeah, that's what made me have the confidence to jump in with you.
I think that's the neurodivergent support piece. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, it comes with emotional regulation. All right. So we've been working together for a few years now. So let's give the people the good stuff. What have been your biggest takeaways so far?
Number one, that it's actually an advantage to be neurodivergent in this community and to be a teacher that can bring that to students in a way that I am accepting, understanding, and available instead of directive and corrective, which I guess I never really understood that I was not a supporter of ABA because I hadn't really, well, I guess my whole life has been masked. So I guess I did encounter it. And it led to a very difficult lifetime that I've been able to unmask now and be myself, and now I finally feel confident and comfortable and not too weird for school.
Yeah. So just for those who don't know, ABA is a treatment of sorts that is used as a standard practice on neurodivergent kids. However, many neurodivergent adults have expressed concern about it and have claimed that it does cause PTSD. So that's why we don't use it. And what have been the biggest shifts that you have made in your business? Obviously, there's been a lot since you started at nothing, but
Yeah. Well, and also having failures, meeting them and pushing through. I think that's the biggest takeaway is that we've had some nosedives. I've had some nosedives on my classes. Things that I've designed that I thought, oh, this looks like a very clear progression. And it turns out that it isn't. And um, and when you're on a platform where reviews are so critical, you might get unfair reviews and some fair ones, but being able to sift through that and look at them clearly um, has been a big takeaway for me from working with you because you're very good at looking at and going, well, it's just feedback. We take the information we get and we work through it and we respond to it in a respectful and clear manner. And it's very helpful.
where is your teaching business now? What are you working on? What are you excited to work on?
Well, I'm really excited to work on more project-based um, classes, getting off one platform and moving to an independent platform and supporting older learners through transitions. I think is something I'm really keen on. And self-directed course materials. I think I'm really keen to get that rolling and find out if I can make that something that's good. Plus, I want to learn how to design an escape room. I got too many ideas in my head.
And when you say older learners, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about teens that are coming late to socialization, either from a neurodivergent perspective or whatever the case may be, and supporting them through that transition period where you're out of school, but you're not quite ready to have independent friendships or social groups that aren't scheduled and supported. I don't want to say, I guess, hosted, but not like taught, if that means it. I don't want to teach social skills, but I want to provide a safe space for 18 to 22 to spend time together in a mediated space that's a moderated space that's safe.
I like the word facilitation,
Yeah.
not like top down so much, but there's like some support and structure to it. Okay, very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the tangible results that you have achieved in your business? What impact has it had in your personal life and your family?
Well, that's easy. I've gone from, I can't remember how much I made my first month. It's just relieved so much financial pressure in my family. It's also allowed me to work from home and I homeschool two teens. So one is on a online program, but I provide support because she requires scribing and some other things that I need to help her with functionally. And my other teen is we've just finished sort of the unschooling thing, so now we're getting into more of a homeschooling thing. It's kind of mixed, but I need that time and I need that flexibility because they're teenagers. They have weird schedules. So we kind of homeschool all over the place, which fits perfectly with teaching online. So it's freedom to work when I want and how I want, and being able to do it from home is amazing, and it's growing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, your income has already grown so much from when we started, but it is still trending upward. So that's super exciting too. All right, tell us a little bit about what internal like mindset shifts you've had since we started working together.
I think the number one internal mindset shift for me has been value, and that's so true because it's when I first started, I would refund quickly and I would let people pretty much discount their way into my classes almost free. I would run classes with one student because I was so afraid of losing visibility on the platform. And in the beginning, that's great. You're working up to it. That makes sense. But it was driven by internal value and a lower internal value. And so now that I've had a lot of feedback, a lot of good criticism that's allowed me to fine tune my approach, and I feel like I've got a really good product and that I'm a good teacher and kids learn from me and they learn from me well. So that tells me that, I'm not off base here and what I have to offer is valuable. So I need to make sure that my pricing is high enough and that I'm not just giving things away for free and that I'm not so quick to refund. Like people need to own their own schedules, and I don't need to constantly accommodate it.
Next question. How has your experience been in general? Yeah.
Okay, so my experience working with you, Carly, has been uplifting and it has been confidence building and not just like blow smoke cheerleader style. It has been okay, let's talk about this in an analytical way. Sometimes we step back and we look at a situation and it isn't all roses and flowery moments. It's sometimes kind of hard work and sometimes it's direct and it needs to be in order to get the good results, right? And to get that good information. If you were just a cheerleader, I would have gotten nowhere. I don't like fluff and smoke blowing and rah-rahing. I need the hard, cold facts.
Um, if someone else was considering working with me, what would you tell them?
For anyone wanting to work with Carly, I would say get ready because you will have to work a little bit and it will require some self-investigation and mostly around how you're stopping yourself. Um, it isn't all tips and tricks and, oh, film this and do this every day. It's about what is stopping you from the inside. And I think that is definitely what people need to grow your business. You need to have that introspection where you are analyzing where you are putting your own roadblocks up. And you do that for me. So that's what I would tell somebody who's coming to coach with you.
Yeah, I'd say that's dead on. Like, we're not robots. The reason that you want to have your own business is to own your own business. It is you. You are the business. So, yeah, there's going to be introspection. Sorry. It's going to happen. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you working with me?
10. 11. Is there an 11? Do you remember that show? I turned it up to 11. Yeah. No? Okay. I'm old.
I don't know that one. All right, last question. Anything else you want to add?
Okay, so you can try and grow your business on your own, and that's great. And it might work. It might. It might take you longer. You might have a clear mind about this. But we don't always see the little things that we're doing that are stopping us from growing in our business. And that's why a coach is necessary. And I think that's why we need, I mean, we always seek further education. It's the same thing, right? You're seeking further education around business. And that's a critical piece of what we do. It's not just getting out there and teaching kids because that's the fun part. It's also the hard part of keeping accountable in your business and keeping it growing. So yeah, that's why coaching is necessary.
I like that reframe. Like it's almost like a professional development piece. Like teachers understand that.
Yeah,
This is just the next little level of professional development that's going to make the big difference in your income and your job satisfaction. Thank you very much.
thanks.